Hi there, and welcome back to the History of Fleetwood Mac. I'm Anita. Today we're going to continue Volume 17, Episode 12 of my Fleetwood Mac and Stevie Nicks scrapbooks, and we are starting to venture into 2005. Now, for those of you who got my messages or keep up with my channel, and I know it's not so many, but I appreciate all who do, I am just that AR, which I mentioned in the past, that when we get up to certain periods of time, I don't have to, I prefer and desire to go consecutively in order. I don't mind when I fall back a little bit, but even when I fall back that little bit, like, skipping 2001 or 2002 or whatever it was for the very best of Fleetwood Mac, skipping that just drove me nuts. And what I was about to get into now is the beginning of 2005, thereabouts, May of 2005. And it was 4 nights of Stevie Nicks at Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas, of which I went all 4 nights. So I immediately went looking for my pictures to add to it. And I'm sorry, let me go back even further. When I started this video, I had half these books made. I mean, a lot of them were made, but there's always more stuff I can put into it. But as you've seen, the flow of all the videos prior are so consecutive because mostly it was all done. When you get up to more current stuff, a lot of it is not done. A lot of it has just, a piece here and there. This puzzle has been in several envelopes since 2011. And how many years is that now? I mean, it's been a long time, and I never completed it. So I go to look for my pictures from 2005 because I went to all 4 shows, and I could not find those pictures anywhere. I went through 2 hard drives that I had, every memory stick I could find in here, and every single burned disc, and everything in this house and anywhere that I could find had 2003, 2004, 2006, 2007, 2008, and onward. I mean, just 2005 was completely obsolete, and it was driving me nuts. And finally, I decided I'm just going to go to storage and just give it a whirl and see. And I went and I was opening up some boxes, and I had a feeling like maybe to look there because I have a lot of burned CDs, a lot of demos and DVDs and stuff like that. So I just thought, I'll just take a chance. And recently I had 2 big black cases full of demos and such, and a whole CD cases. And I had taken those back to storage. I thought they were still at the house, but they were in storage. So I pulled one of those down from the shelf, I unzipped it, and I just kind of plopped it open. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm thinking about it. Let me go look through this box first, because this I pulled down. I looked through the box, and there's a lot of stuff in there, and I pulled a pile of DVDs and CDs and stuff out. No such luck. Nothing written on there, but stuff that I can look at when I get home. I kind of think to myself, now what I'm going to do, and I go back to that case, and that case is nothing but demos, music, bootlegs, live shows and stuff like that. But towards the end of the page, there's one goddamn disc in there, and it says all my pictures from Say You Will and Vegas. One disc. If I can convey to you how many of the same things are on all those hard drives, I must have gone through a dozen memory sticks, at least 20 burned CDs. Like I said, 2 hard drives, and all the same shit over and over and over. All the Say You Will pictures, which is amazing, is great, but I had never, ever, apparently, loaded to my computer or backed up my Vegas pictures. It's on one disc, and I actually found it. And what it was doing amongst demos and stuff like that, probably, 2015 or 16, Anita was like, I'm going to put it in a safe place, and I put it there. But it is the only CD in there that had pictures on it that was not media. So that was just blew my mind. I get it home and I go through it. And first of all, number one, I'm grateful as hell that it still works, because I don't know about you guys, but I learned the hard way that a lot of CDs that we thought would last forever, you burn and you back up your items on there, they're starting to deteriorate. A lot of them don't load. They can't be read. They kind of fudge. They will screw up your computer, which several of mine did, both my laptop and my desktop. So that was fun. But no, this disc just plopped right in and played, and all the pictures came up, and I just couldn't have been more pleased. I was having a little bit of difficulty getting them printed. They were not the best. They were not my Diva Las Vegas pictures or my Andre Agassi pictures. Stevie can clearly be seen here, and she's not this big, but they were dark. And I had a digital camera, and they looked like they'd be fine to print up. But when I first got my pictures from, I think, Walgreens I went to, they were pitch black. And I had adjusted a little bit that I could, the contrast and stuff like that, and they were awful. And I thought, oh, I'll just make it work and just really show these 2 and stuff like that. And I'm like, no, I'm going to go back and I'm going to have them done, which is why a video wasn't made for Monday. But I have everything now. I got everything done, and this is probably going to be in 2 parts because I have the first part here, and it's 4 nights. So we'll start kind of with the first 2 nights a little bit, and then we'll finish with the rest of them. So without further ado, also I had found a journal that I had from a long time ago, which thank God, because I can't tell you what I did yet. I can, but not really. And this entry was written in 5/21/05, so about 10 or so days after the shows. And it even starts out, this is just how a complete version of me. The significance of me writing things down as they happen is becoming apparent the older I get. No sooner had my last entry taken place, more has happened. I've never documented the amazing, I had met Courtney Love prior to this, Moby, and some other people, and going to a Tori Amos concert, all that kind of stuff. So I started writing in there, but then I had to get right to it, because I had mentioned all that stuff. I better get the Stevie stuff out because I hadn't even mentioned Courtney and Moby and all this other stuff that was important to me. So anyway, it was kind of what I prefaced with you guys, that it was a part of a discussion that Stevie was potentially going to be out there. And one piece that I found that was kind of taped up into the journal. I don't know, but this is kind of in a nutshell. I think kind of all 4 days, but I will start with this one. Vegas 2005. I mean, to not go, are you kidding me? But for how many nights? I couldn't stand the thought of not going for anything but all 4 nights. A huge bone of contention with my husband. Scoring the cash value of 4 nights worth of tickets, plus the percentage towards either hotel, gas, or food, eased the pain of my going. Because I was going to, no one could stop me. I bought tickets in advance for the 10th and 11th, and I agreed that with myself that I would try my luck in Vegas for the 13th and the 14th. The first night I got row 7. Let's see. The highlight for me from this first night was not just the fact that I was there with a load of great Stevie Nicks fans and in Vegas for what I thought at the time was going to be a really one-off kind of show, but after Edge of 17, Beauty and the Beast, I mean, seeing her come out in this remarkable robe and the movie playing behind was breathtaking. Still, in my opinion, the opening night Stevie seemed nervous and apprehensive. I mean, I guess I would be too in this kick-ass place in Vegas, but damn it, you are Stevie Nicks, get real. After show, the first night we did a lot of hanging. Sorry about that. We did a lot of hanging out in front of the Forum, meeting fans and hoping to see Stevie Nicks or anything Stevie Nicks related. In retrospect, I think it was dumb to assume we'd ever see Stevie, but this whole moment, getting there, being there, etc., we were hopeful. I want to say that the band came out in intervals all night, slowly, one at a time or in groups, but maybe it was just one night, then another. Again, I can't believe I don't have any of this written down somewhere blow by blow, minutes after it happened. You cannot rely on your memory. But that was this. So this, I don't know when this was written, but then we get to the proper journal part, which I guess was written in, and maybe I forgot it. I don't know. Who the hell knows with me? But it was just kind of funny. And I'll show you, I have a couple pictures, but I just kind of wanted to give you an idea of the show. On Trouble in Shangri-La, Stevie let Destiny's Child Bootylicious song be the warm-up to her intro. On these 4 nights, however, she let the entry, the entry song play, and then played a new dance mix of Dreams, of which she cut off her lead into. Behind the enormous stage was a large monitor that flashed her "I can't wait," kind of breaking through the walls kind of thing. Her arrival on stage put the crowd on its feet. So dramatic with the, dramatic flair with the words. We were welcomed with the opening enchanted. Stevie looked amazing, slim, and radiant as she solicitously stated, "I hope you make it." Still, Stevie loves to sing Outside the Rain, leading into Dreams. The fact that she didn't start these two as the first song made a difference to me. All the Trouble in Shangri-La shows started that way, so even a slight variation was appreciated. For many fans, Dreams and Landslide are a must. For others, sometimes myself included, I'm a tad tired of hearing them, but it's not really fair because I go night after night. That said, I found it odd when she started singing Outside the Rain, leading into Dreams, I had a big lump in my throat. The combination of nostalgia and "oh my god, I'm really here" swelled within me. Stop Dragging My Heart Around sounds amazing, second only to the original, of course, with Waddy on guitar and vocal. For some reason, however, on all 4 nights, I felt that Waddy was really trying to emulate Tom's vocal rather than just singing as Waddy. And I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but that's something I honestly, when I was rereading this, really kind of thought about, and I think it really is true. There was a period of time where Waddy is freaking epic, and we're going to get into some really cool Waddy stuff. It's Stevie related, but just a cool moment that I had. I think he's a brilliant person, and not just because he's with Stevie. I mean, all the other bands he's played with, as you well know from that Family Tree or whatever that movie came out about, a lot of the session players. Um, but it was odd to me because Waddy plays Waddy style. Waddy obviously is going to play the music, that is not written by him or performed by him possibly, but a lot of it is. But when he does something like "Stop Dragging My Heart Around," at these shows in particular, I felt that he was really putting on the Tom Petty flair instead of giving it all Waddy. And this was completely a Stevie Nicks show, so it should be 100% Waddy, in my opinion. There have been a couple other nights where I've noticed that. And I don't know what it is. I don't even know what that flair is. But there are some times where he just comes off as though he's really into hitting that note or that trope or something like that, as Tom would do, instead of as Waddy's interpretation of Tom would do. If that makes any sense. It's not important. Why am I even bringing it up? Anyway, trying to emulate his guitar and vocal rather than just singing as Waddy. I seem to be pretty much alone on this. Why do I even bother telling you? Everybody's like, what are you talking about? Regardless, it's always a treat having Waddy on board. After Stop Dragging My Heart Around, I believe Stevie leaves the stage for the first time. Scott Plunkett goes into a gorgeous piano composition that is the lead into Rhiannon. The light is on Scott alone, and the monitor shows his hands manipulating the ivories effortlessly. Oh, so $10 words. As you applaud his effort, Stevie regraces the stage in her signature black chiffon, sleeves as sinewy as valley fog. She gets to the mic, and for a split second, the audience is hush, waiting for the opening line. The minute she speaks, the crowd is alive once more. Even the dowdiest Stevie fan, and Vegas had them in droves, showed animation for this Welsh witch classic. Stevie then followed Rhiannon with a perfect sister song, Sorcerer. Immediately, you could spot the fans from the comp people, high roller ticket holders. Half stayed standing, the other half sat down. Ugh. After Sorcerer, Stevie left the stage again to don her stand-back regalia, a new cape, no less. Not quite as sparkly as the original, but still lovely. The backdrop for Stand Back was a seizure-inducing light spectacle in bright white. The whole array was very 80s dance club, but hardly stole attention away from a twirling, vivacious, old-school Nicks. Boogieing her way from Carlos to Waddy during the guitar solos made up for lack of Vegas empty video-type dancers. Much like Lindsay bringing it down a notch after Come on the Say World Tour, Stevie gives all the band a break, save herself and Carlos for a beautiful rendition of Landslide. It seems that at every show, I can hear the entire audience sing along to her. I'm getting older too, quips, and I can never be sure if that's true or wishful thinking. I think I'm going to stop there because I think it goes into part 3 and 4 and just show you some photos so I'm not dragging you too long or boring you. Hopefully I'm not. But it was just cool because this was kind of like at the time. And I was really happy. And there was actually some other concerts in here. And I thought it was really cool because I had gone to a ton of shows of this month and this week. It was such a cool moment. But I had kind of like taken the Stevie parts on there. And then I had seen, I think, Susie shortly beforehand, which I think I've mentioned is my other like huge favorite. I'm an enormous Susie fan. And then shortly after that, let's see, that was May. Tori Amos was December of that same year. And then I want to say, so it seemed like after Stevie in May, we went to Tori. It seems like it was Tori, Debbie Harry, and the Cult in like 3 nights. Bam, 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 bam. It was amazing. So all that kind of stuff is in here. And I'm also a big fan of Debbie Harry, who I've met quite a few times. So it's kind of cool. But anyway, I will read some of this other stuff with the second video. But like I said, I don't want to, bore you. And I'm kind of stumbling over my words. I apologize. But what bothers me is I could not find a ticket for night 10. And I know that which is really weird because they're printed. And this is obviously printed for the 11th. But this was a picture of the sign. And there's a bootleg video of the nights in Vegas. And this actually took place on the 3rd night, I want to say, third night. And that's my friend Dawn, who, if you recall, we had not been speaking. So there could be that story involved, maybe not. And that's me. And very unfortunately in this moment, bless my dear friend Dawn's heart. But again, we hadn't spoken in a while. And as Stevie's coming around, it's literally right in front of me. And here comes my friend like a Mack truck, just right up and gave Stevie a big hug. So I just completely lost out on that. So I'm a little bitter, a little tiny bit bitter. But I love her. She's my friend and I adore her. But before that happened, we were all smiles. And even though it's kind of this weird ghostly image, it's really cool that, we showed up and somebody freezed that for me and printed that out. So I thought that was really cool. Again, picture of the sign that we got, much like the Andre Agassi thing, you had to wait for it to flash to catch it. This was in one of the Vegas, booklets or whatever that's around there. This was amazing. This was a set list that I got on, again, I want to say the second night. What I love about these set lists, and I have a lot that come up, I seem to have, gotten a nice handful, not a lot, but a nice handful, or, between 2005 and probably like 2007 or so. And on almost all of these, it's so funny because, Sharon is in charge of how the girls do their hands and stuff like that. And she'll write down like pretty arms, fast, or scoop up, still, snap and dip. I love it. I love all of Sharon's writing. I'm pretty sure that this was Jana's. So one set list from night one is all I got out of the four, but that's something. And in these pictures, this is kind of the quality. Some are a little bit darker. These ones actually came out okay, and that one was a pretty good shot. I mean, she's just in full singing. Let's see, turn it from the light there. There we go. It's a little bit better. I call them kind of foggy. It's an old camera. Again, it's 2011, so they're not going to be the best. Again, you can see from here, but like from back here, it's really cool looking. I really like these ones because, this is when she had the monitor up. So you can see her face back here, see a little bit of her eyes here, kind of gets cut off her mouth, eye here. And then this is when she had a Sulamith portrait in the back. But in each one of them, you can see Stevie in front of them, I think she's cut off here, but she's in this one, obviously. And then yet another little newspaper thing. This picture is not from a show, but just a Vegas newspaper saying that she'd be in town singing. And then I'll end with this one here. These were the problem ones. These were kind of the problem pictures, like almost all of these. So this one and this one down here just look really cool because you can see the girls here at the bottom, kind of, but that's Stevie on the monitor on the big screen. And then the same for this one here. You can't see Stevie, but it looks like a picture just right up front, but that's them, Stevie and Waddy on the monitor. And when I first printed this out, there was just no person in there. It was just like a black paper. It was ridiculous. And then some of these were kind of dark, so they don't look as great because I had to like change the tone and change the, but you could see the sparkle now and stuff like that, whereas you couldn't before. So again, they're not perfect. Some are really great. I did take some, I'm not toot my own horn, but I did take some really good ones. Some are not that great though. And these are kind of in the middle. The other thing I'll note too that I've done in these videos and these pages also is it was impossible for me because I had that one disc. You can right click on a picture and it will tell you when it was taken, but none of them were right. I don't know if that's because the old thing to computers now or what, but like everything said like May 11th, 12th, 13 and 14, where it was like 10 and 11, choose off the 12th, then 13 and 14 or something like that. So it's off. So what I did is I just kind of did a mixture of all the pictures. Like, this part here, well, this isn't a good example, another page I'm coming up on. But like this one was a collection of when the face showed up in the background. Does that make sense? Like, so, this one could have been from the opening night. This one could have been from the third night. I don't know. But I just thought it looked kind of cool. Pictures collected from each one of the shows. So this is probably a variety, especially with the face part. So that's what I did. And that's what I did for some of the other pages, like especially with the final bow and Edge of 17. All those are going to be, they're all the pictures from all four nights. So, but I will go into the rest of the journal. I think I could do it in another video because I didn't mean for this one to go on so long. I apologize, but I just kind of want to preface with what had happened, which was funny, but not maybe you guys will be like, it's not very funny, but I thought it was hilarious. And you should have seen this house. My boyfriend wanted to move out. I had turned this place upside down looking for where possibly that disc could be or something. It just made no sense to me. I didn't even know if it was on a disc. I didn't know if it was on a, those little things you stuck into the camera, the little memory cards. I had no idea where it was. I didn't know what kind of format it was on, and I was just looking over everything. So it's been an interesting last couple of days. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this, and we got more on the remaining shows of Vegas 2011 or 2005. I apologize, really. And come back, and I'll keep continuing on. Thank you so much, and everybody have a great night. Bye.